University of Minnesota loses the ability to contribute to Linux, Apple supplier gets ransomware, and more on this week's episode of Bear Security. I'm Chris Cly, and this is Bear Security for the week of April 24th, 2021. Our top story this week regards the University of Minnesota. Two university students were performing research against the Linux kernel development team to see if they could introduce vulnerabilities by essentially social engineering the volunteers who manage the kernel. They called the method hypocrite commits. Announcements of the research had led to distrust by members of the kernel group, which led to the school being banned and their contributions reversed from Linux. Members of the open source community had voiced their concerns months ago regarding this research, but it was not until this week that the complaints started to gain traction and after the actions of the Linux kernel team. While certainly open source security is an important topic, attempting to introduce vulnerabilities into a production, open source product could have untold consequences, and this behavior harms the trust and integrity of both higher education and cybersecurity. There are other methods to conduct such research, and better work needs to be done to consider the transient impact to subjects instead of assuming there is no human impact if there is no human research subject. The research paper was planned to be presented at the 42nd IEEE Symposium on Security and Privacy, but no word yet if IEEE will be changing that given the information that's come to light. If you use or manage WordPress, this might be of interest to you. This week, a total of 3 plugins were reported among various sites for high-risk vulnerabilities. The first plugin, Kaswara Modern WP Bakery Page Builder, has a 0-day vulnerability that allows remote code execution, and worst of all, the plugin is no longer maintained. According to WordFence, about 10,000 sites could be affected by this vulnerability, and the only suggestion is to uninstall it as soon as possible. The next plugin is Redirection for Contact Form 7. This plugin has been found to have a vulnerability that allows modification of a site and remote code execution. A patch for it was issued back in February, so if you haven't updated since then, go ahead and do so. According to WordFence, an estimated 200,000 sites are impacted. The final plugin is the N5 Upload Form through version 1.0, which has a vulnerability that allows all file types to be uploaded, which allows attacks to upload malicious code and potentially execute it. An update is available for that one as well. Tech Republic is reporting that one of Apple's suppliers, Quanta Computer Inc., was targeted by the ransom group Rebel. The group has demanded a $50 million ransom for data they say contains confidential and proprietary information around Apple's latest products. According to Bloomberg, the group had posted plans for a new laptop, including images for what looks to be a MacBook, by the time the Apple Online event had ended on Tuesday. Quanta Computer also produces products for HP, Facebook, and Google. This again serves as a reminder that your security is only as good as your weakest link in your supply chain. If recent history is any indicator, we're likely to hear a lot more of these attacks in the coming months. Reuters is reporting that Codecov, a software development tool provider, had been breached. It is believed currently that malicious actors tampered with one of the company's software development tools to gain restricted access to hundreds of networks belonging to their customers. One of the tools Codecov makes is a software auditing tool that allows developers to test their code, which often requires the storage of credentials to various internal systems for the evaluation to be performed, which really makes it an ideal target for malicious actors. They believe the attackers put extra effort into getting inside other software development and technology services providers after rapidly copying the credentials and resources from Codecov. While the investigation is still in its early stages so far, no other company has reported such a breach related to this exploitation. However, there's concerns this may be similar in scale and skills required to the attack on SolarWinds, so we may not know for months the full extent of this breach. SC Magazine reported that MITRE published their recently completed evaluation of 29 security vendors to see how their products did in detecting or blocking known MITRE attack techniques associated with financially motivated cyber criminal groups. The results appear to show that cybersecurity enterprise solutions are improving in detecting malicious activity conducted through APIs and the Windows management instrumentation tools but still have room for improvement in terms of identifying and stopping defense evasion. You can see the full report by viewing the link in the description. We have an update on the EC Council story from 2 weeks ago regarding the organization's response to criticism of a sexist poll intended to promote a webinar on women in security, along with the poll itself. Initially, the organization had a less than stellar response, including blocking women who were criticizing them. On Friday, the EC Council introduced a dedicated page outlining their efforts to do better in the wake of the situation. The page also includes short-term and long-term goals they have set for themselves to be able to move past and improve from this situation. They also intend to be transparent about their efforts and aim to provide quarterly updates on their progress. While we applaud this initial effort by the EC Council and hope that they remain committed to the improvements they set out, I personally will wait to see whether the changes materialize. Being transparent about the efforts is critical to regaining trust for those they may have harmed and organizations who may have already changed their processes as a result. You can see this page at eccouncil.org/diversity, and a link for it will also be in the description. Lastly, let's talk careers. CNBC After Hours recently reported that 1 in 4 employees are looking to change their job as the pandemic comes to an end. So, we're wondering, when it comes to professionals in IT and cybersecurity, how are you feeling about it? Have you already changed jobs? Or will you be as the pandemic comes to an end? Jump on over to our poll on Twitter at the handles @syntaxbearer and let us know. We'll cover the result in next week's episode. As always, links for everything mentioned can be found in the description. That's all for this week's episode of Bear Security. Come back every Saturday or visit our website, syntaxbearer.io, for other formats that are available. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any comments or would like to see us cover something, please let us know. Stay safe out there, friends.